There are a lot of underlying psychological issues when it comes to youth sports and injuries. Kids are starting younger and younger when it comes to playing sports, and we need to teach them now how to properly deal with their injuries, both on and most importantly, off the field. Injuries can happen anywhere. They can be as little as someone twists their ankle during practice, but they could be as major as, somebody running track and their knee blows out. How do you deal with those two giant variances when it comes to sports? How do you talk to your athletes and say it's going to be okay when something could potentially take them out of a game? We need to make sure that these athletes are understood as being valued. And even though their injury, yes, it happened, it's not devastation. There are things that we could potentially do in order to work towards fixing this. We need to make sure that athletes, especially youth athletes, they know that there's a lot of emotional baggage that comes with sports injuries. And we as coaches and leaders need to be able to recognize these hurtful emotions that we feel, that our athletes are feeling when it comes to injuries. They could be coming out and saying that they're feeling guilty because they let their team down. They could be in constant denial that says the injury is not that bad, I can still play, put me back in. I can go to practice. And maybe they're even constantly questioning, when can I get back in the game? When can I get back into practice? And we as coaches need to recognize that that's very negative behavior because they're not truly dealing with their injury. They're just pushing it aside because they just want to get back in. They just want to make everybody happy again. There is something called psychological recovery. And psychological recovery is, while it is great to be in physical therapy and to really try to fix your injury on its own, like just strictly body wise, just trying to fix it and getting you back out there, you also need to take a step back and see if you're psychologically ready to, be that you're psychologically recovered from this injury. Just taking some time out and just basic imagery would really help your young athlete. Just putting them in a great mindset, having them lay down and just think about, happiness and how they're going to overcome this injury, not with distress and not with winning a game and being forced to win a game. It's just making sure that they're making the strides in their mind, that they are ready to come back into playing a game. We can learn a lot from sports injuries, especially we could make them learning experiences for the other teammates, the other athletes that are on your team. If somebody is feeling as though they are, my knee's starting to kind of hurt, my shoulder's kind of starting to hurt, maybe we could put those as little flags that say, okay, maybe we're pushing and we need to start working with you physical therapy wise off the field, and start taking time and realizing that these are kids that may want to prolong their athletic careers. They may want to go into high school and college and maybe minors. They want to be able to do that. And we as coaches need to look forward into their futures. We need to teach our athletes how to deal with setbacks, whether or not they're minor or they're major. We just need to teach them. We need to teach them and help them build as a team with emotional and social support, showing that we're there for them. And no matter what the outcome is of the game, we need to help them understand coping, and whether that be emotional or physical or even psychological coping, we need to teach them that. And like I said, maybe even teach them how to, maybe the do's and don'ts of injuries. Like if you're starting to feel bad, maybe we should take a time out. There are a lot of underlying psychological issues when it comes to youth sports and injuries. Kids are starting younger and younger when it comes to playing sports, and we need to teach them now how to properly deal with their injuries, both on and most importantly, off the field. Injuries can happen anywhere. They can be as little as someone twists their ankle during practice, but they could be as major as, somebody running track and their knee blows out. How do you deal with those two giant variances when it comes to sports? How do you talk to